We think in life that every time we do something, we get something. Life is do this, get that. We go to high school, we get good grades. We want to get good grades. Why? Because we want to get into a good college. Why do you want to get a good college? Because we want to get a good job. We get a good job because we want to, have a wife and a kid, and we want to buy a 3-bedroom house in the suburbs with a white picket fence, 2-car garage, a Labradoodle, and 1.9 kids. Because if we do this, we get that. But that's not what life is about, because life is not about getting things. Life is about becoming someone, more important than anything else. When you're sitting on your deathbed, what is the last thing you're going to want to see, want to hear, or want to do? I mean, a lot of people from when I grew up in the Washington, D.C. area, they're very much into sports, into football, basketball, hockey, all the sports. Do you think that on your deathbed, you're going to want to watch a replay of the New England Patriots Super Bowl? Do you think you're going to want a cheeseburger with French fries? Chances are the one thing you're going to want on your deathbed is time with your loved ones. More important than anything else. One of the most important things that we need in our life is meaning and purpose. Purpose, when we have a purpose is forward-looking, and meaning is backward-looking, which means when we have something in life that is purposeful, we create meaning. Now, everything in life, can you think of anything in this world that doesn't have a purpose? Anything? Jellyfish have a purpose. They probably eat small larvae in the ocean. I don't know exactly what they are, but I'm sure they have a purpose besides stinging you in the ocean when you're swimming. Everything in this world has a purpose. And when you understand you have a purpose, when you know you have a purpose, you look for that purpose. If something's created, it has a purpose. If something's random, it doesn't have a purpose. Since we were created, we have a purpose. And we know we spend our life looking for our purpose. Now, everything has a purpose. Snowflakes have a purpose. Now, there's an idea that no two snowflakes are alike. I don't know how many snowflakes in the world, but no two snowflakes are alike. But one snowflake can do the exact same job as another snowflake. One snowflake falls down on I-95 or the New Jersey Turnpike, and it creates a 10-mile accident. Another snowflake that's falling in Alaska or Japan can do the same job. A horse goes from point A to point B. Now, maybe another horse can do it faster, but really, it does the same job. But us, we're unique. No one can do our job. We're not like another horse. We're not like another snowflake. A pen wants to write. A panther wants to climb a tree and chase antelope. A dog wants to be with its owner. When you know your purpose, you want to fulfill your purpose. That's how you create meaning and purpose in life. If a pen just sits around, obviously a pen doesn't have any feelings or anything, but if a pen just sits around not doing anything, it's not fulfilling its purpose, and if it could be happy, which obviously it can't, it would not be happy. A panther doesn't want to go swimming, and a cat doesn't want to go swimming, and a dog doesn't want to climb trees. That's not fulfilling its purpose, and that's what it's made for. We want to find what we're made for. That's our purpose in life. When we're on our deathbed and we're looking back at our life, we're going to see a giant puzzle. And you want to see a puzzle that is unique and intricate as possible. Now, everything that happens to your life is part of your journey. It's part of your end game. But some of those pieces might not fit in very well. It could be the fact that you got kicked out of school. It could be you've got divorced. You got into an accident. You got the dreaded C word, which used to be cancer, is now corona. And you're like, God, why is this happening to me? Why do I have to have these pieces that I don't understand how they fit in? Because has anyone here done puzzles in their life? Like a big piece, like a 1,500-piece puzzle? You do puzzles? What happens when you finish a puzzle? You get excited. Well, you take pleasure. You put the last piece in, right? Not on Shabbos. You put the last piece in, and what happens? You're excited for how long? 3 minutes? Until your mom breaks out the next puzzle, right? You finish a puzzle, and you get pleasure in finishing it, but that lasts, a few minutes. Because the pleasure isn't finishing the puzzle. The pleasure is the act of using your brain muscles to put the puzzle together. That is our life. Our life isn't the end game. The pleasure of our life isn't finishing the puzzle. It's putting that puzzle pieces together. And everything we do, the pieces that don't fit in very well, the pieces that seem like challenges, like, God, why do you give this to me? Those are the pieces of intricate that make your puzzle unique. You can see a 5-year-old or a 3-year-old do a simple puzzle of 10 pieces. And you get pleasure out of it. Yeah, a 3-year-old does a little puzzle. But if you take that same 5-piece puzzle or 10-piece puzzle and give it to a 10-year-old, Do you get any pleasure out of watching a 10-year-old do a simple puzzle like that? You do? If you're a parent and you have a 10-year-old doing a puzzle for a 3-year-old, there's no pleasure in that. If he's helping a 3-year-old, you get pleasure in that. But if he's doing himself for pleasure, no. Like, you want a 10-year-old to do a much more intricate puzzle. Do you understand? Okay. Do you get me here now? Right? Because it's the journey that's the pleasure. Our journey in life is our end game. Life isn't do this, get that. Life is do this, live that. There's a story about a man walking up a mountain. He's going to hike up K2. Where's K2? Where's K2? Huh? Right next to Everest, right? Do you know, I was surprised to read this, that I know a lot of people die that attempt to climb Mount Everest. Do you know the percentage of people that die? Does anyone take a guess? How many people die? What percentage do you have of dying if you attempt to climb Mount Everest? 14%. That's pretty high. I mean, like, I'm shocked. Are you shocked? That's unbelievable. That's unbelievable. That 14% chance you're going to die by climbing Mount Everest. You're climbing a mountain, and you see you see a clearing, and there's a helicopter there. And there's a pilot, and the pilot calls you over. You say, "What's up?" He says, "Where are you going?" You say, "I'm climbing to the top of the mountain. I'm the top of K2." He says, "Oh, really? I got this helicopter. I can take you right to the top right now in like 5 minutes." And you're like, "No, thank you." He says, "But I thought you said you wanted to get to the top of the mountain." He says, "I do, but I want to get up there myself." Because that's our journey in life. Our journey in life is to find our purpose. Every single thing, the fact that you guys are sitting out here for our first seminar means this is part of fulfilling your purpose in life. You might not know it now, but what's going to happen is something's going to happen from here. Maybe you'll learn something later tonight or just now, or maybe you'll come to next month's seminar and learn something from Lori Plotnick, or maybe you'll come to my class tomorrow on the 4 phases of love, and like, oh my gosh, that's it, and I changed my attitude. Next thing you know, you meet a guy and you're married, and it didn't happen because you came to this thing here. But you don't, until you can connect the dots, and you don't see it when you're in it. It's hard to see it in it. It's only when you step back and you see your life as a big picture. You look back on your life, you say, that's why that happened, that's why that happened, that's why that happened. Why am I sitting here tonight? I didn't go to speaker school. I'm not a rabbi. I didn't go to coach school. I started playing the piano. That's how it started. I'm here because my mom gave me piano lessons. So when I was 7 years old, I used to go to piano lessons every single week. And like every little kid, when do you practice? Only until 10 minutes till your next week's lesson. Like, I waited the whole week. Oh, I have to go to my lesson. I got to practice now. And you practice. And that's what I did until I got into 7th grade. What happens where I grew up in Alexandria, Virginia, was, I don't think it's like this everywhere, but we had elementary school through 6th grade, and then 7th and 8th is junior high school, and then you go to high school. But what happens when you're a 6th grade kid like me, who was a little pipsqueak, little tiny kid, skinny, small, and I go into 7th grade, and the kids in 7th and 8th grade are a lot bigger than 6th grade. But what's a lot bigger is the girls. You go to 8th grade, it's like they go from girls to women. It's a big change. So I joined the chorus, and of course it's full of women, and the chorus teacher said, "Who wants to be the accompanist for our chorus?" I said, "I'll do it." I'm looking around at all these beautiful women, and I'm really terrified because all the boys are bigger and stronger, and I'm this little tiny kid. And so I figured, this will give me something to do. It'll be good for me to play piano. So I took this music home, and I didn't stop practicing. I literally came home, and I hit it hard. I mean, like, my mom had to kick me off the piano, and I started playing other music, and then all the girls wanted to sing, on stage, and they wanted to sing, all these different songs, and, some say love, there's something like that, like from the 70s, and then they come to me, I started playing Barry Manilow at the Copacabana, the hottest spot north of Atlanta, here at the Copa. Songs like that. Billy Joel, I started playing Rachmaninoff, and I started playing Gershwin and Chopin, and I was getting really, really good. In fact, I was getting so good that everyone told me how good I was. "You're so good." I go to Nordstrom's, in the mall. I go to Nordstrom's, there'd be a piano there, and I'd play the piano, and people would throw me money, $10 bills, people would throw me money. And here I am, I'm a young teenager, I'm like, I'm really good. Look at me, I'm really good. And I started thinking to myself, you know what? Maybe I should become a professional pianist. Maybe instead of going to college for whatever I'm going to do, I was probably going to be a lawyer, I'll become a pianist. So I'll apply to, at that time, this was the early 80s, and the big TV show at the time was called Fame. Fame, I want to live forever. Anyone know the song? I'm probably aging myself. I want to learn how to fly, right? So I'm like, I'm going to go to Fame. I'm going to go to Fame. I'll apply. I'm great. Everyone loves me. I play. I'm a great pianist. I'm going to go to Fame. So I was going to apply to Oberlin, which is in Ohio. That was my backup school, and my first school was Juilliard. And I'm fired up. I'm like, at the same time, I was a coin collector. And I wasn't, dabbing on coins, buying and selling a little bit. I love coins, but piano was it. Because piano, that gave me my life. That gave me my purpose because everyone needed me. One of the most important things you need in life is to be needed. Really is. Everyone needed me. They needed me to play for the chorus. They needed me to play for compass. Anyway, that's my life. That's my life was headed. Until one day, my senior in high school, I was going to an all-county chorus event. I was in the chorus, and I sang. I mean, not great, but good enough. And I walked into a room full of piano players. Full of pianos, maybe 15 pianos. This is in my head. It's funny because as you remember things, there could have been 3 pianos. I don't remember. It seemed like a lot of pianos at the time. And I looked in there, and there was a lot of girls playing piano, many Koreans, young Korean girls, and they were unbelievable. I mean, like, they blew me away. Nothing like I could do. Like, I could read music really well. If you gave me a song, within 5 or 10 minutes, I could play it really well. They didn't need music. You sing a song, they played it. If I had to change the key of a song, I had to figure out every note, how one up half a step or down half a step, to figure out where that song is going to go on the piano. They could do it immediately. My heart sank. I, at that point in time, said, me? Fame? Me? Oberlin? Forget about it. The idea of me going to become a professional pianist disappeared. I literally dropped the idea from my head. And we're going to learn a few lessons from this. When I give a class, I give classes at the Torah all the time. You guys are welcome to come. Well, if you're a guy, you can come to Torah. But I teach also at the Essentials program in the new building. That's men and women. It's free when they come out the schedule. Actually, I think next month we'll be doing more seminars. One lesson I learned, you don't need to be the best at what you do to find your purpose. You just need to be good enough. And this is for everything in life. I mean, look at Bob Dylan. I mean, you don't have to be the best singer in the world to be a famous singer. You don't have to be succeed in a field. You don't have to be the best. You just need to be good enough. If I had not quit on myself and didn't go to Fame or Juilliard or Oberlin, I could have been a great pianist. I might not have been the best. I might not have been, playing for the symphonies, but I could have wrote. I had a very creative mind. I could write music. I was a lot of fun to watch. I used to play and dance and sing and smile and make fun, and people enjoyed it. And maybe the Koreans, who were much better and much more talented, were like more, like stone-faced. Maybe not as much fun to watch. Maybe I would have, symphonies would have hired me because I was fun to watch. I never gave it a shot. I learned that you don't have to be the best. And I've learned this throughout my life. Whatever it is, I got involved in real estate. I got involved in coins. I'm getting involved in teaching. I'm not the best. But I don't need to be the best. I just need to be good enough. Number 2, don't listen to negative thoughts or negative people, because they will bring you down. You might have an idea. You might have something you want to do. You might want to start a website. You might want to start a financial business. You might want to start a bank. You might want to start a real estate company, whatever it is. Everyone's going to say, Google already has it. They're doing it. You'll never get a patent. The website's already taken. It'll never get done. No one's going to buy it. That's what people tell you. I remember I was in high school, I was in college. Well, I'll get this in a second, but don't listen. And who's the worst person to listen to? Yourself. Most of our self-doubt comes from ourselves. Self-doubt, yes, obviously comes from ourselves. Because we don't believe in ourselves. We don't. My new thing right now, I have this new saying. I'm not sure how to put this into the talk, but back when I was young, I used to watch a lot of NFL, and the greatest receiver of all time was Jerry Rice. I don't know if anyone's heard of Jerry Rice. Played for San Francisco, Joe Montana. When he would catch a touchdown pass, he would give the ball to the referee and walk off the field. And guys would come up to him, and they'd hug him, and they'd pat him on the tushy, that kind of thing, like football players. I don't know why they all pat each other on the tushy. If you did that on the street, went to some guy and pat him on the tushy, you'd get, like, arrested, right? Wouldn't you? It's funny. In football, you can get away with it. All sports, right. He hands the football to the referee and walks off the field. Do you know why? Because he catches touchdown passes. He knows his purpose in life. He says, throw me the ball and I will catch you touchdown passes. Throw me the ball and I will catch you touchdown passes. That's the attitude you have to have. You don't have to show off. You don't have to be the big shot. I heard a story today. It was unbelievable. I love this story. There's a United 787 flying across the Atlantic. And next to the United 787 is an F-16 U.S. jet. Pulls right next to the United 787 jumbo jet. And the F-16 pilot calls him on the radio. He goes, hey, how's it going? Hey, how you doing? He goes, hey, F-16 pilot says, hey, watch me. And the F-16 pilot goes to like Mach 3 and takes off to like 50,000 feet, and then dives down all the way down to almost to sea level, comes back, does some loopy-loops, comes back upside down next to the plane, then turns over, and he smiles at the 787 pilot, jumbo jet pilot. He says, how's that? He's in the United pilot goes, that's pretty good. The United pilot says to him, okay, watch me. And the F-16 pilot's like, wow, what's he gonna do? He goes, just watch me. So the F-16 pilot's waiting for something to happen. He waits a minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes. About 7, 8 minutes later, the United pilot gets on. He says, what do you think of that? And the F-16 pilot says, you didn't do anything. What are you talking? Nothing happened. He goes, what do you mean I didn't do anything? I went to the bathroom. I washed my hands. I said a bracha. I washed my face. I had a hot cup of coffee and a hot chocolate fudge cake. You can't do that in an F-16. The F-16 is showy, fast, cool looking, awesome. I love jets. But he didn't do anything. Just showed off. You don't have to show off. When you have purpose in life and you know what you want, you go after it, you do it. You don't worry about what other people say. You don't worry about what other people say. So I gave up trying to play the piano. And then I decided I was dabbling more in the coins. And then what happened was I was in college in Fredericksburg, Virginia, and one of the reasons I picked that college was because it was close to an airport. I was a coin dealer. For about 40 years, I traded rare United States coins, and I traveled the country to different trade shows, auction houses. I was always traveling. And I decided when I was in college, I was going to kind of do more business. So I was trading up off and on. But during the summers and during the breaks of college, I had a job at a bank, First Virginia Bank in Old Town Alexandria. I made $5 an hour. This is the early 90s. It was great money. Minimum wage was like $2.90 or $3 back then. I'm making $5 an hour every time I had a break from college. So no other kid had this. It was a wonder deal. I'd go back for Thanksgiving for 4 days and work for 4 days and come back to college and I'd get a paycheck. So every summer, this is what I did. My junior year in college, I made a decision that was life-changing. I decided, when I went to college, I had a friend who I had met at a coin seminar. He was like my age. We were 16 at the time in Colorado. And he went into the coin business full time, and I didn't. I went to college because that's what you do when you're a Jewish boy living in D.C. area. Your parents say, you must go to college. Why did I go to college? I have no idea. I wouldn't suggest it for everybody unless you know what you're doing. Different story. Anyway, I'm in college, and my friend Dwight's like making a fortune. And I said, Dwight, I want to go in this coin business full time. I want to try this. I want to do this. It's kind of similar to what I'm doing today. I wanted to try this. What am I got to lose? I'm going to try it, right? And I said, but you know, I have a job at the bank paying $5 an hour that's guaranteed. I can work all summer, have paychecks. No one else has that. People are begging for jobs, especially after the recession 1982, 83, 81, 82. So I said, Dwight, I think I want to take a shot this summer and go around the country. I'm a junior in college. I want to take a shot and travel the country and buy and sell coins. But I had like $500 to my name. So Dwight said to me, come to Denver next week. I'll give you $4,000. Go around the city of D.C., Washington, D.C., Baltimore, get a bunch of coins on consignment and bring them to me, and I'll see you in Denver. And I did that. I went around D.C. I've been going to the stores. They knew who I was, so they felt comfortable with me. I said, I'm going to a coin show. Can I take some coins on consignment? I brought a bunch of coins. I went to Denver Tech Center. It was a Holiday Inn or Hyatt, I don't remember. And is it still there, the Hyatt? Yeah? It's the one with the restaurant on the roof. Remember the restaurant on the roof? Is that whatever? Anyway, I went there, and Dwight bought every one of my coins. I made $800, and he gave me $4,000, and I literally was a coin dealer. I traveled that entire summer buying and selling coins. I went to almost every city: Birmingham, Alabama, Denver, Detroit. I went to Orlando, LA, Dallas. So many, New York, Buffalo, everywhere. I went everywhere buying and selling coins. I made an important decision in that junior year. Because in life, you could be comfortably mediocre, but if you want to have a chance for greatness, you need to get uncomfortable. You can live your life and be comfortably mediocre. If you want to have a chance for greatness, you need to get uncomfortable. And that's what I did. And I traveled, and I became somewhat of a sensation because I was so young. I was trading all over the place. I had lots of stories I can't get into because it would take too long. And I became a coin dealer. When I was in my late 30s, I was asked to teach a class on coin grading because I still am probably a world-class coin dealer, a coin grader. That is an evaluator of rare coins. So I went to Colorado Springs and I taught this class. I've never taught anything in my life before. And I was really good. I discovered that my gosh, I'm really good. I had no idea. People loved my class. They were begging for me to come back another year to teach again. Where is this leading? Your journey is your end game. Life isn't do this, get that. Life is do this, live that. Because life is not about getting things, it's about becoming someone. How did I get to a point where I'm sitting up here in Jerusalem teaching you a class on your journey is your end game? First, I love piano, and I was really good. I loved being on stage. I loved making people feel good. Then I discovered that I was a really good teacher. That is puzzle number one. Puzzle piece number one, puzzle piece number two. Puzzle piece number three. I started learning Torah. I had no idea. I was not raised an observant Jew. People ask me all the time, how did you go from secular Jew to observant Jew? I have a little song for you. I had a big job in the city, working for the dollar every night and day. This old rabbi told me I was fit to be holy. Get yourself a Bible, son, and see what it say. Instead of getting heard the roses, get yourself the 5 books of Moses. Learn it from the Torah. Well, I read a bit about creation, the Garden of Eden, and Adam and Eve. Cain slew Abel. Noah was stable. The more I read, the more I believe. The reason why we got big noses is to stick him in the 5 books of Moses. Learn it from the Torah. So thank you very much. I'll be here next month. I got a lot more of that. Anyway, so I started learning Torah, and I blew my mind. I was seeing speakers like Charlie Harari and Rav Gov and Rav Dorbert Cohen and Lori Plotnick and all these different speakers. I'm like, where did this come from? How come I never knew about this stuff? And here, everything's starting to come together. I love being on stage. I love being in the limelight. I love making people feel good. And then I found out I was a good teacher. And here I'm seeing something that I want to teach that's meaningful and has purpose to me and something I want to do. And I can change people's lives. I can help people out. I'm like, wow, I think this is what I'm supposed to be doing. But I needed a trigger. Like, you don't just go from one day being a normal guy learning Torah to some guy who's teaching Torah. That doesn't happen. How does that happen? But guess what? It did happen. Do you know why? One thing they don't teach you at Aish Torah, take responsibility. There's a mission that says, where there is no man, be the man. Which means if no one's teaching it, you do it. If you know Aleph, you teach Aleph. If you know Beis, you need to teach Beis. I didn't know Torah, but I knew there was a rabbi in my community that was going away for the weekend and had no one to teach his Torah class. I'll do it. I'll do it. I was in 7th grade. I couldn't play cabaret. I had to take it home and play for 30 hours that week to figure out how to play it. How am I going to teach Torah? You know what I did? I went home, I picked up the Torah, and I read it. I searched, Aish.com, I searched Chabad.com, looked at things, and guess what? I taught a Torah class that week. Rabbi? I'm not a rabbi. I just learned this like 3 days ago. Rabbi? No, what do you mean? What are you talking about? I'm not a rabbi. Rabbi? Think about what you can do. Think about what you can try in life. There's a story of a woman who, this is from a few years ago, you probably heard this, how her son got trapped under a car. You've heard stories like this, people can lift it. This woman lifted the car, obviously. Not obviously, she lifted a car that you can't lift to save her son. She saved his life. But this part of the story is not like the other stories. You see, everyone tried to interview for 6 months, and they couldn't do it. They couldn't find her. She refused to answer the phone. They finally got to her. You know what she said? I was embarrassed. She goes, I didn't talk to anybody. I was embarrassed my whole life. Here, I've been wanting to be a nurse my whole life, and I was afraid to try. And when I lifted that car up off my son, I'm like, what did I waste my life for? Because I'm afraid I might fail. I might not make it. Someone's gonna tell me I'm not good enough. No. I decided that, you know what? After 6 months of thinking about this, I entered into nursing school, and I'm now a nurse. So when I look back at my life, I see the piano playing, and I see the coin dealing, the teaching, and I see Torah. But there's one thing that I needed a trigger. I needed a big trigger. Unfortunately, God gave it to me. My wife teaches me every single day that I should thank him for everything. Constantly asking thanks. But she says you should always thank him for things that are going bad in your life. That's a high level. I'm doing it. I'm getting through it. When I have aches and pains, thank you, God. Thank you for making sure that I know I'm alive. I'm 47 years old. I was having pains in my back. We just had our 5th child, and I was playing basketball for, every day, every Sunday outdoors in D.C. in the summer, blacktop, in the heat, 2 hours nonstop. And of course, every Monday morning, like I'm getting out of my car, like, oh man, my back hurts because I play basketball for 2 hours. I'm 47, not so young. I'm playing 2 hours nonstop. My wife begs me, go see a chiropractor. I'm like, I'm not going to see a chiropractor. Please go see a chiropractor. I'm not going to do it. I'm a guy. I don't go see a chiropractor, right? I'm not going to do it. Finally, she said to me, it'll be my birthday present. It'll be my anniversary present. I made an appointment for you across the street from your office. Just go see her. So I fine, twist my arm. I did it. When I saw this chiropractor, she took an X-ray of my back, and she did her exam on me. At the end of the exam, she said, you know, do you realize you have a spot in your lung? Like, what are you talking about, a spot in my lung? She showed me the X-ray. She goes, a spot. I don't think it's supposed to be there. I'm like, what do I do? She goes, I don't know. You should go see someone about it. So I literally went in the parking lot called Virtual Physical. Virtual Physical is a company in Rockville, Maryland, where they do a scan. And I went there, and he says, you have a 1.8 mass sitting inside your lung. I'm like, what is it? He goes, I don't know. So the next day, he goes, go see a pulmonologist. I've never heard of a pulmonologist before. So I went to go see a pulmonologist. And I brought my wife with me, and I brought my scan, and I went and walked into the apartment. First time seeing a pulmonologist. I showed him my scan. He looked at it and said, okay, let's take your lung out. What? Take my lung out? I'm 47 years old. I run 3 miles a day. I don't eat meat. I don't do drugs. I eat really healthy. I don't drink before 5 o'clock. What do you mean take my lung out? 47 years old. Take my lung out. So I had the surgery. That week, Lori Palatnik visited me in the hospital and said to me, this is going to make a great class. Trigger, bingo. That was it. Everything was leading up to the point that I'm standing here today. My life is my journey. My life is the end game isn't do this, do that. It's do this, live that. Everything in my life, my cancer, my piano, everything has led me to the point that I'm teaching here now. And not only that, thank God I'm going to have my 5th book out sometime later this year. We're going to be on a deathbed someday, and we're going to look back at our life. And one of the most important things that you can have is not money. It's not houses. It's not fame. It's time with your loved ones and purpose. There's only 2 things you can leave in this world. Those are your children and your mitzvahs, your deeds. It's the only thing. That's it. Only thing we can leave. And our children are a reflection upon us. So what I want you to take away from this, we're going to have a break in a few minutes before you go to the last part of the program. Life is short. We're only here for a certain amount of time. You know, it's our job to change the world, not let the world change us. We have all this stuff, you know, when guys come to yeshiva, first thing I tell them, by the way, people are going to tell you that you're being brainwashed. And they say, really? Yeah. And do you know why they tell you that? Because it's true. Because your brain needs washing. We have so much schmutz on our brain that gets bombarded from social media, from news, from everything, and we have no control what goes in. It's only when you learn to control, put a filter on your brain, put a filter on your eyes, put a filter on your ears, that you can control your life. Because there's all those negative vibes. You can't do it. You can't perform it. Someone's got it better. You'll never do it. You'll never get into fame. You'll never get into this. That's us. It's all on us. We control our own lives. Nobody else. I want to thank you so much for the first half of this class. We're going to take a 5 to 10 minute break, have a little bit of drinks, have a few snacks, and we'll finish off the second half. Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching the Fishing Coach Show.
If you like what you just watched, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment with any ideas you'd like to see on any future episodes.
We'll see you next time.